Hi, my name is Tyler Noaker. I've been in the collective for about 3 years now. I play guitar, and after graduation, I'm going to Berklee College of Music to major in performance.
Hi, I'm Dominic Frieden. I've been at the collective for 5 years now. I play guitar. I've been in SPG1 for 3 years, and after graduation, I'm going to Slippery Rock University and majoring in music therapy and music performance.
Hi, my name is Andrew Head. I've been in the collective for 7 years. I play the bass guitar, and I have been in SPG1 for 5 years, and after high school, I plan to go to Lock Haven University for business administration.
Hi, I'm Sylvie Briggs. I've been at the collective for 4 years. I play guitar, and after graduation, I'm going to Penn State University, and I have an undecided major.
Hi, I'm Izzy Brumbaugh. I play the piano. I've been in the collective for about 11 years now. I've been in SPG1 since it started. After graduation, I plan on taking a gap year and then studying a business in administration, but a concentration in management.
Hi, I'm Isabella Cole. I sing and I play piano. I've been at the collective for about 9 years now and in SPG1 for about 7 of those years. And after graduation, I plan on attending Bloomsburg University to pursue a career in nursing.
Hi, I'm Marin Snow. I've been at the collective for about 7 years now. I sing, play bass and guitar, and I've been in SPG1 for about 3 years. After graduation, I plan on going to Colorado College.
Hi, I'm Molly Chapman. I've been at the collective for about 10 years now and in SPG1 for 5 of them. I play guitar and I sing, and after school, I plan to go to Duquesne University and majoring in education.
All right, the first question is, talk about your first experiences after joining the collective.
I'll go first. My first experience that I remember was when I was at the we were at the Brandon Park Band Show, and I was out back getting ready for my first song ever to play with the collective, and I remember meeting Dave, and this was the first time I ever met him, and he called me Blue Shoes because I had blue Nike shoes on, and for the first year and a half that I was at the collective, I was known as Blue Shoes to Dave, and it was pretty fun.
I remember my first showcase song was Hey Soul Sister by Train, and it was at the church when we used to do recitals. They were called recitals in the church, and Danny Smith sang my song, and he still had his lyric sheet up on the stand, and that was acceptable back then. I totally forget how much things have changed.
The first thing I remember after joining the collective was I went into my first workshop with Willie, and there was a bunch of other people, and Willie was just calling out exercises like triplets, and I was like, nice, it's a triple.
Well, my first experience was at the old collective. You know how we used to have our recitals at the church, at Trinity Church? I played Under My Thumb by the Rolling Stones. And the way you had to exit onto the stage, there was 2 glass panels. There was this side and then the other side. And for my song, not only did I come on the wrong song, but in the wrong way. So I exited on this. I pushed open these large glass doors, and I made a whole scene.
No, that a little bit reminds me of one of mine. So it was one of my first, because they did call them recitals back then, but this was at the Genetti. And I just remember, I had 2 songs in a row, so I did my first one and then walked off, and then they started announcing the next song, so I ran. It was so embarrassing.
Wait, Isabel, do you remember the time, Dangerous Woman, when I walked off stage after my song and forgot I was on it? Sorry, it reminded me of that.
Yeah, some of my first experiences, I just remember I showed up right after the Women of Rock show, and I remember I didn't even have a guitar then, so it was just kind of I was walking around with a guitar I borrowed from the storage room, and then there were all these kids that were rock gods to me. Then I was like, crap.
I remember the first time that I had been to an SPG1 rehearsal. It was a Tech Monkey for the More Than a Feeling show, and it was actually the first time I had ever met Dave. He came up to me, asked me what my name was, and I was wrapping a cable at the time. And he said something like, "You're a Tech Monkey, you're supposed to be quick at this. Work on it, get faster."
I think the first memory I ever have from the collective, I toured the old collective as an open house, and I was just like walking around in all the rooms and everything, and I thought, this is so cool, like I have to do this. All these kids playing music that are my age, and it's like the music I want to play, and stuff. Yeah, good memory.
Next question.
All right. The next question is, when did you realize that the Collective was a program that you really wanted to stick with?
I realized it after my first lesson. You know, there's just something about learning how to play music that really attracted to me, because it was like maybe a week before I joined the Collective. I had like a little starter kit guitar in my room, and I was just trying to play it, and my mom was like, hey, you know, you want me to get you guitar lessons? There's this place called the Uptown Music Collective, and I was like, sure, you know. And I went into my first lesson with Willie Ort, and after that I was like, I love this. Like, I want to do this for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I think when I realized that I wanted to like stick with it was I had just come from somewhere where like when we did recitals it was only piano or karaoke. So I didn't realize like until I actually like got here that it was a full band like accompanying you, and I just thought that that was so cool.
Yeah, I have to agree with Isabel on that, because just like playing with a band, songs that you want to play, is such a unique experience that it really isn't offered around here anywhere else. And so that's definitely when I knew.
Mine was probably when I was in 7th grade. That's when we did the Fleetwood Mac show at the CTL. Before that, I wasn't really that good. Like, I played with one hand. So, but until that show, not only did I love Fleetwood Mac, but I really enjoyed like playing music, and that's when I really realized that this might be something that I want to continue for the rest of my life.
I think the first time that I realized that I wanted to keep going was when I joined the Backbeats performance group. It was a Motown tribute group that we did as a CBG, and you know, it was just a bunch of young kids, and we played a bunch of Motown songs, and I love Motown. I've always been a fan of Motown. So it was cool to do that and realize that that's what I wanted to. That's the path I wanted to keep going down, and started to want to play more and more music.
I remember the exact day when I realized that I wanted to stick with it. I was a tech monkey in the More Than a Feeling show, and I didn't know anybody at the Collective really. I was totally new. But then they started off with 4-play Long Time at the first rehearsal, and I was just like blown away, and I was like, wow, I gotta do this.
I think for me it was the first time Dave yelled at me. I was like 8 or 9, and he was just like, come on, you have to stick with this, like you're not giving it your full potential, and I know you can do better than this, and he made me cry, and I was just like, you know what, I am gonna stick with it, and I am going to reach my full potential, and I like to think that I did, but I probably, you know.
I guess, well, for me, it was kind of like the week that I took my beginner's test to become an intermediate, because I thought it was too hard, that I wouldn't ever get there. But like the moment I realized, oh hey, I'm an intermediate, I can do this, you know, then it's like it opened up a bunch of possibilities, and I realized maybe I wasn't so bad. And the Collective, well, it was perfect for that. So.
All right, what's your most significant Collective memory?
This one is really hard, but I think I'd have to say the first time I ever played on stage at the CAC, just because I was, like before that, I was like, there's no way, like I can never do that, can never get up and do that. And then afterwards I was like, whoa, wait, I can actually, I'm physically capable, so that was just, yeah, totally insane.
Yeah, mine's like similar to Marin's. Like my first lead on the CAC stage, like lead vocal, was Call Me by Blondie. And I just remember like taking the mic, and I just thought it was the coolest thing ever, because I had never played in a place like that. It was just really awesome.
I think I have to kind of bank off of them, man. The first time I played at the CAC, it wasn't even like an official SPG1 show. It was a show we did a while back called Voices Rising. And it was just like, you know, I got up there and I started playing, and I was like, I need to do this with SPG1. Like, it would be so awesome.
Mine is a little later than everyone's, because I've been a part of it for so long, so it's like kind of like it's stayed at its coolness. But it's when we did Captain Fantastic. Oh my gosh, that show.
That was incredible.
When we sold out, I was just like, because I started the show with Angry Young Man. I remember the feeling and excitement. Backstage, I was a nervous wreck because I was like this the whole time. But as soon as the curtain went up and you could see all the people in the crowd, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah,
and then we closed. And then we closed.
My experience was similar to Izzy's. I remember being backstage the Captain Fantastic show. Right before the curtain went up with Tyler and Kate and Billy back there. And as you were, I think, getting ready to go out to the piano. But I remember we were all just really excited because it was the first time we ever played to a sold out crowd at the Community Arts Center. And I just remember being like super excited, and then when that curtain went up and we just felt the energy of the crowd, it was unbelievable. There's never been an experience like that since that show, even before that show.
Yeah, mine was like kind of the same during that show. Like the first 2 songs we opened with Angry Young Man, and we went into Still Rock and Roll. And I just remember, like, as soon as we went into the second song, like, the whole crowd started clapping along, and, like, I walked up and, like, took the guitar solo, and it was just unreal. Like, the feeling of being in front of that sold-out crowd.
I love
awesome.
segues into songs. That's my favorite thing.
I think my most significant memory isn't actually having to do with performing. I mean, it's no secret, I fall a lot on stage. I don't think there's been a single year where I haven't, like, plummeled into this stage at one point in a show. And I think, like, it was the Rolling Stones show. And, no, it wasn't. It was the first Led Zeppelin show. And, not the first, the second. Hammer of the Gods. And I was playing rock and roll, and I went to hit the last chord, and I jumped off a riser, and I slipped, and I fell on my butt playing someone else's guitar, and I still hit the last chord. And I think, like, that's probably about my favorite moment on stage, because even though I probably embarrassed myself in front of a bunch of people,
I played the right chord.
I played the right chord.
I was actually in the audience for that, and that was definitely pretty hilarious.
Gabriel did the same thing in this show.
Yeah. I didn't fall in this one though. So we're good.
Mine's probably the first time I wrote a song. It was at the beginning of this year. I mean that sounds awkward after all the SPG1 parts, but I mean, I love being on stage, but the most significant part for me was probably, I wrote my first song, and I brought it to Dave. I wasn't even ever in songwriting. I brought it to Dave, and I played it for him and stuff, and he told me it was good, and I was like, what? And he told me he wasn't blowing smoke in my face or anything, and I was like, how could it be? But it motivated me, of course, so I'm still writing.
Songwriting was always like one of my favorite things that they offered here. Like, it's always just so cool to go in and listen to everyone else's stuff.
Describe the UMC in one word.
Stressful.
Special. That's so cliche. I don't know. You can't really.
It's so funny.
You can't really like say like.
It
'cause it's
can't
just-
be in one word because it's
It's
chaotic
so-
but amazing.
It's
Right.
miscombobulated. It's a surprise. You never know. It depends on what area of the collective, like, because I think of the collective as like the performance aspect of it as a pyramid, like a hierarchy. So first you take your private lessons, and then the second part of the pyramid you take like workshops and Tech Monkey classes and all that stuff. And then next you might join a backing band, and then after that a CPG, that's a community performance group, and then SPG1.
That's a lot more than one word.
I mean, like it depends on how far you get up there.
But
each
if
have
it's your
different-
lesson,
different.
if it's your
They each have
lessons,
different
it's predictable unless it's a Dave lesson, in which case you have no idea what you're doing.
That's true.
Yeah.
But like if you're in SPG1, it's just like it's a lot of
Emotions.
emotions. Yeah,
It's a lot of emotions.
you feel
eventually get
inspired by the
used to
people
it,
you're with.
though.
Yeah.
It's like I think of SPG1 as my parents. You don't always love them. Well, you do always love them. But there's times when you get really stressed out and they yell at you, or that you don't want to like them at the time, but you still, it's something in the end, you know that it's all worth it.
Right.
Oh yeah.
It's just unconditional love. Like, so. There's one word for you.
How has the collective changed the way you listen to music?
Oh, when I was younger, I listened to like a lot of poppy stuff that
Taylor
had
Swift.
Taylor Swift. A lot of Taylor Swift. Everyone here will tell you. But I used to listen to a lot of poppy stuff that had like, you know, it had some chords and it had like some lyrical substance, but like now when I'm listening to things, I'm listening in depth and I want to hear how their chord changes work, and I want to hear like how they're moving their lines and what they're trying to do and what they're trying to convey through everything that they're playing, not just their lyrics. And I've become a lot more picky about what I'll listen to, but also like a lot more open to the stuff that I'll try.
Yeah, like when I first joined here, I only listened to like pop music. Like Taylor Swift.
Demi Lovato.
Yeah. And the longer I was here, like, and I heard all these like different types of music, like it just expanded like the different types of music that I listened to.
I remember when I first joined, I only listened to like Kiss, and also I listened to like pop stuff too. And I've gone from listening to them to listening to bands like Wolfpack, just because I love to listen now for songs that have an not an intense bass line, but something that's interesting to listen to. And you know, Kiss is interesting to listen to, but after you listen to them for a while, it gets kind of. But my music knowledge and my music listening has just expanded significantly.
For me, I don't know. I've always, because my dad and my mom love rock and all genres of music, but I grew up listening to whatever my mom played in the car, or my dad, and but being a part of the collective, I'm able to like listen to not only like rock, jazz, country, folk, whatever it is, and all of us here, I would say, we're musically inclined. Isabel and I are like, we have perfect pitch, so sometimes that's it's not always a good thing, because we'll be like, we'll listen, we can't really enjoy a song, sometimes we'll be like, oh, I don't know, like the chord changes, but it's helped me, like, because at school, all the like teachers I have, if they talk about music at all, like listening to their favorite type of music, I'm like, hey, I know that too. So it's cool, because all of my friends, they just listen to like pop, rap, and just, I don't know, that it's not as cool as like rock. Yeah, I love rock.
Yeah.
Back when I was listening to music before I joined the collective, you know, I just kind of listened and a guitar solo would come up and I'd be like, oh yeah, guitar solo. But like, I never, like, now that I actually know about music, I can like, you know, take the time and, okay, wow, what he did was really cool. And sometimes, you know, if someone plays something that you really like, you can kind of steal it and make it your own.
Yeah, that's for sure. I think for me, I've just learned to appreciate all different types of music, and it's really given me like a deeper ear for what's going on in everything. And in terms of like how songs are written and how someone is portraying like the lyrics and the whole vibe of the song, like I think I've just really learned to enjoy music so much more after coming here.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that I've fallen in love with bands that I never thought that I would like really listen to that much, just through rehearsals and through shows and everything. And then also with Dave picking out little details in rehearsals, I've learned to do the same thing with the music that I listen to, which I never thought I would be able to do.
Steely Dan.
Yeah.
I never would expect myself to. When we did that show, I thought I would like the Doobie Brothers better than the Steely Dan. But the first set,
So
oh my
good.
gosh,
Yes.
Hey,
So good. Yeah.
oh my god, I love that song.
Never thought
so
I'd
much.
listen to that.
Deacon Blues though.
That's
That's a different story.
There are like sometimes my favorite thing with the collective is the showcases, honestly, because then you can listen to like what everyone else is listening to and what everyone else likes, especially the younger kids, because it's so strange hearing what the younger kids like listening to now.
Especially nowadays.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's still like those like fan favorite songs like Sweet Home Alabama,
Which we always
Sign
have.
of the Times that everyone picks. I remember Dog Days used to be
Yeah.
like one of the fan
Oh, I love
favorites.
rock and
Riptide?
roll, or
Yes.
I love Rocky Road, Riptide.
Sunshine of Your Love. Purple Haze.
Like there are those songs that everyone picks, and then there are some songs that like people always come up and like you've never heard them before, and then you just become obsessed with them and like you want to listen to them all the time. I think that's like a really cool part of being at the collective.
Hit a tally.
All right, what do you bring to a long rehearsal?
Coffee.
Sass. Okay. Sass. Angerness. E chords. Lyrics. A to Z lyrics.
I have a notebook where I have all of my song forms written down, all of my chords, all of my lyrics, all of my annotations, and I have it all in a binder. I bring that binder, and sometimes I'll take it in the rehearsal room with me, and I'll feel really guilty about it.
I
Oh,
bring-
and also, sorry to cut you
No,
off.
no
At the old collective, you would always bring a sweatshirt because the old collective was always freezing.
I bring Red Bull. And sometimes Sheet's food or McDonald's, whatever's the most unhealthy thing I can find at just to give me some energy to come into this room and have fun.
I probably bring Taco Bell, mac and cheese of any kind, Chef Boyardee, comedy, I guess. Some people would say hyperness, ADHD. You know, it's a lot of excitement at the collective, especially SPG.
Especially with all the caffeine. We're talking about breathing
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Well, some of us don't even need caffeine.
in. Izzy.
I'm gonna say mine. It's got to be caffeine, kind bars, and confidence.
Gum. Don't forget the ice cube gums.
Yeah.
I was kind of going for some alliteration.
I probably bring like excitement and fear because like I'm excited for some songs and then I'm like terrified for others, but it's fun. Yeah.
Isabella brings the same funny stories that she tells all the time.
She always brings in the same funny
But I
stories.
love when she tells stories because she makes it seem like when she tells you the story, she acts like she's never like she says it the same way as she
That
did
is
before.
that's so true.
With the same excitement.
If she can actually get to telling the story, because most of the time, like she'll be like, I have to.
Yeah.
Bring a phone charger. Definitely bring
God.
a phone charger. If you're a guitar player, ultimate guitar tabs.
Oh, and extra picks because someone's going to forget theirs.
Yes.
And half-learned songs.
Yes. I've learned songs.
That you
Sometimes
pray you're
a
going to
quarter
fake
learned.
through.
Yeah.
What's your most embarrassing collective memory?
Ooh, I'll go first. So at the end of each set, I'm normally the one who has to say, we will be taking a 15 intermission. But instead of me saying it the right way, I say intermission. We will be taking a 15 intermission break, and everyone always makes fun of me for that. And it's not happened once, but 3 times at least.
This year.
This year, yeah, and yeah.
The most embarrassing moment wasn't even like on stage. I think the most embarrassing thing I've done at the collective was I was messing around with one of my friends like here in the lounge, and we accidentally somehow ended up breaking the fridge.
Oh, it's actually right.
That was my daughter.
Fun times.
My most embarrassing moment has to be when the first time we were at the Millbrook Playhouse. We were doing the Eagles because we just did the Eagles like the week before, and they had this like big stage set up. They had like because they just did a play or something like the week before, and they had a bunch of stuff set up. So I'm walking around and I go to stand up on one of them, and my foot completely misses the edge of it. And I go down, I hit my shin on the edge of it, and I hit the headstock of my bass right off the ground. And I just kind of sit down, and the guy in the audience that's sitting like probably 2 feet in front of me is like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Oh."
Oh my god. My most embarrassing moment has to be the Fleetwood Mac show. I had to play bass for that show because we were very short on basses. And Willie was bringing me a bass. It was the P bass. And I went to turn around and I accidentally clobbered him in the face.
Oh,
Willie, if you're seeing this, I am so sorry still. Like that had to hurt.
My most embarrassing moment, well, Molly, Izzy, and Andrew all remember this one, I'm sure. So we were playing this gig in Eagle and I was filling in for one of the singers in Backbeats, the Motown group, and I decided it would be a good idea to sing Who's Loving You and to go for some of those notes that are up there. And I cracked, like, it was the worst crack ever on the one part. I was like, it was like 5 years ago, but it's still so burned into my mind. I can't even watch the video on the Facebook. I still can't watch the video.
I think mine was probably last year. I was a tech monkey, and one of the shows I got a nosebleed like right before it happened. So I laid on the couch for like 30 minutes trying to get it to go away because Google's suggestions didn't help. I don't know how anyone else felt about that. I was pretty darn embarrassed.
I just felt really bad. I don't think I've ever seen a nosebleed that took that long to get rid of.
do you remember the Tom Petty show? I was about to go on. It was like the song before Scare Easy, which I sang on, and like I started to get a nosebleed like the song
I remember
before. That was bad.
I think one thing that happened to me recently was for the Led Zeppelin show, and it was one of the first times that we were practicing, I think, and it was the third song, What Is and What Should Never Be, and I had this slide solo on guitar, and like, I've always kind of been a little scared of the slide, and so I went up and I just totally played the first couple of notes, it just didn't make any sense. And then I continued to just bomb the rest of the solo. This was right after I got accepted into college, so Dave turns and looks at me, and he goes, "Wow, Berklee College of Music, huh?"
A moment that wasn't really embarrassing, that was kind of funny, was when I was on stage in the folk show, and I was sitting on there, and I just had surgery, so I was playing bass, I was sitting on a stool. Matthew Bellino was supposed to bring me out my crutches. And I come out here, he grabs my bass and runs off. And I'm just sitting there on the stool, like, alright, and then the song starts. And then finally, I think it was Matt, he finally ran back out like 20 seconds into the song. And then I, hobbled off, and it's really funny.
You guys want to know why Andrew needed surgery?
He should have looked both ways. If anyone asks, you just have to tell them you should have looked both ways.
My most morally sad story is when Andrew got hit by the car, and I immediately texted the party band group, and I was like, "Guys, we have a problem. We have a gig Saturday, and I think Andrew just got hit with a car. We need a bass player."
And I still ended up playing.
Yeah, he still ended up playing.
You could see him it was the Blossburg Fair. And you could see in the video, Andrew's like this uptight on this metal chair with maybe one cushion on it. And he was like this with shades on, he was just like this. And while everyone else is like jamming out, Isabella's like this, hopping up, and Andrew's like this, like trying, like in utter pain.
It was 3 days later.
I'm still like astonished that you were able to do that.
I wouldn't know.
I can't believe you got hit by a car.
That was pretty embarrassing.
If you could relive your collective experience, what would you do differently?
I probably would have taken it more seriously like earlier, because like when it first started, I didn't really think like that the rehearsals were, I mean, I knew they were important, but I didn't think of them as I do now. So I just wish I would have like thought of that then when I first started.
Yeah, I have to agree with that a little bit because I wish that I would have like tried for SPG1 earlier or like even CPGs, just because I didn't really think of it as an option so much. I just came for lessons for the first few years.
And you were really good too, because I remember you did like solo stuff, and I was just like, who is that? Does she go to the collective? She's like so good.
I wish I would probably. I always have this theory that things happen for for a reason, but I would probably like be more confident in myself as a musician because not only like when I was younger, there was this really good keyboard player named Tess Clutter, and I would always look up to her and everything like that. And it was she was graduating that year, and we didn't have any keyboard players at the time. It was just her and I, and she was leaving. And I'm like, oh my god, what am I gonna do without her? But I just didn't have enough confidence in myself. And same with singing. I probably should have been more confident.
I don't regret too much. The one thing I wish I would have done is that I wish I just would have, as soon as I started in SPG1, would have had the confidence on stage that I have now. Because there's nothing like going on stage and just having an amazing time and just jamming out.
I think I would have branched out to more people. I haven't really gotten close with any of the SPG1 members until like this year and last year. But like I've been in it for 5 years, and I've seen some of the greats go by, like Mitchell and Enzo and Maya and all of those amazing singers and players and musicians. And I really wish that I branched out to them and like became friendlier with them, because those are some people that I really looked up to as I was growing up.
I honestly wish I would have chosen better audition songs for the first
So-
like couple years
The
I
preparation.
auditioned. Yeah, because like I was always focused on, is it gonna be too hard, like, you know, so I would always go easier. But then like this last year, you know, I learned something hard, but I learned it for my college audition as well. But, you know, I was thinking, like, why haven't I tried to learn something like this before? Like, why is this the first time I'm doing this? Yeah, I would have definitely chosen better audition songs.
I think for me, I don't have too much I regret, but I wish that I would have discovered the collective earlier, because it just seems like it went by so fast. And I don't know, I can only imagine what it would be like if I had joined a few years earlier.
I think we could all agree that our attitudes towards like all the whole perform, like just the way that we come in, preparation, just like our moods for it, and not to let anything like change our moves in our moods in a negative way. Just like live the best of it. Yes. Probably the James Bar gigs or the Brickyard gigs, Stonehouse, like just the minor gigs. I wish that we would pick more songs and better songs.
Yeah,
And
I'll
I think
go with that
especially
one,
this
too.
year when you don't have those smaller gigs, like this, like not even to say that they're small gigs, but like the fact that we don't have any gigs at all for the CPGs. We don't have First Friday, Brickyard, Stonehouse, the Casa Gala that we always did, and they always yelled at us that we were too loud and we needed to be quieter.
I forgot about that.
Just don't take it for granted.
I feel like we all did a little
Yeah.
bit of that, yeah.
Especially, I think it hit us probably.
That like the Zeppelin show.
Yeah.
Because it goes by so
Yeah.
fast. You
Yeah.
don't realize how fast it goes by until the Zeppelin show hit, and then I was like,
Oh, we are
whoa.
graduating.
Right.
And then we all had to wear
Like,
sunglasses.
yesterday I was at graduation rehearsal with Andrew, and I was like, wait a minute,
Wait.
this isn't this isn't right. Like,
Something's not right.
How has music helped you cope with changes in your life?
It always gave me something to work for, because sometimes you just get out of things and you don't really want to do anything. But music was always something I was interested in, like even when everything else was kind of meh. So it just kind of kept me together like tape or something.
Music was always a way for me to escape. I'm not the best at school. I don't really enjoy school, so I always listen to music throughout school. And I like to, and when I'm stressing about schoolwork, instead of doing that schoolwork, I'll just play bass. And do that and learn something new that I haven't learned on that. So it's just a way for me, and to come here instead of just being home all the time. You know, it was a way for me to escape from life that seemed normal and kind of come into this life that wasn't normal. I mean, this is not normal.
No.
But it's fun, not normal. So it gave me an experience to come in here and just have a great time with great friends and meet great people.
There's a fine line and difference between listening to music and then playing music. Listening to music in general, we're so lucky as our generation to be able to grow up in an environment where we're able to access modern technology, able to just use our phones to listen to on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Google. But listening to music for me can really affect my mood and the way I think about things. And it's entertainment too. But playing music, it's something different as well. It's fun. Sometimes it can get tiring if you play like a long set, but as long as you're with people that you like and you're having a good time, it good.
Yeah, music honestly gave me an outlet. Like, you know, as a teenager, you know, you can have like everything perfect, but if you're a teenager, you're still gonna be mad for like no reason sometimes because you know that's just how we are.
Yep.
You know, but sometimes I'd just be like really mad or really upset for like no reason at all. And I'd just go upstairs and I'd play my guitar for like a solid hour and a half and I'd get done and I'd be like, wow, I feel a lot better, like, you know, I'm not angry anymore.
I think same thing for me really, but this past year I think I really kind of learned to express my emotions through like songwriting and just being able to like sit down and just have it all kind of flow out on a piece of paper or just like in your fingers. Like that's just something that helps you cope so well. And of course just like playing music with other people in general is just the greatest feeling ever.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that. I've been involved in the songwriting program for a couple of years, and even when I sucked, I always felt really, really good after writing a song because it was just me getting everything out. And now especially, I'm just like, I'm really happy after I write something, no matter how terrible I think it might be, or no matter how depressing the content could be. I always feel so much better after getting everything out there in a song.
I think that music just really allows me to connect with other people, like whether listening or playing. And it's always been a constant force in my life, so I don't have to like, if anything changes in my life, music is always there, and the collective's always there, so I really appreciate that.
What things have you learned here that you will take with you the rest of your life?
How to take criticism. Here, like, you get a lot of criticism from your peers, Dave.
We do.
It's, again, in the songwriting program, like, a lot of the basis of the program is don't be nice, criticize people for what you think should be criticized in the writing. And I think here you learn how to take it in a way that helps you and you don't, like, lash out about it. You don't get upset about it because that's just how the world works. Like, no one's ever going to like everything you do or anything you do.
Yeah, I think it's helped me with like time management and like keeping a schedule because with the rehearsals we have, like I always make sure not to double book. I've learned that over the years, so I think I'll definitely carry that lesson with me.
I learned how to procrastinate really well.
Yep.
I do that well in school already.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it helped me in school procrastinating. No. I learned how to, like honestly, I learned how to get into crunch time and just really push myself to learn 10 songs in a night. You know, for the rehearsal the next day that I had weeks to practice and learn. But obviously I pushed them off until the night before the rehearsal.
Yeah.
So it really kind of pushed me to cram stuff and learn how to cram stuff.
I learned how to be a good leader at times. Responsibility, leadership skills, how to be respectful, responsible. And in general, when you're a part of the collective, especially with the performance group, you learn how to be adult real fast. You know how to be mature at the appropriate times. Most of us at least know how to do that. But in general, I've learned so much. I've learned how to build relationships. I've learned the positives and negatives with that too. And just the whole aspect of being here, you just grow up real quickly in a good way.
With your leadership thing, I've had people from school, like teachers, be like, hey, you're a real leader in my class, and I know that the collective had to do with it. Like, the collective makes you a natural leader.
Leadership
Because-
committee is so
Because you
helpful.
learn how to lead in a way that isn't, like, overbearing to people. And you learn how to, like, be a productive leader. And I think that's, like, one of the biggest takeaways from here.
I learned how to get yelled at without crying. Yeah.
You just suck in your tongue like this.
Yeah.
And you look up, or you never want to look down, because that's when the cheers
Right.
have
Yep.
a chance.
Yep.
You just look like this.
Yeah. You want to find something else to focus
Yeah.
on, like
Yeah.
puppies, puppy dogs.
I get to see my cats.
I think what everyone is kind of saying, and what I totally agree with, is that you learn so much more than just music from coming here. And just
Yeah.
stuff that you'll keep with you for the rest of your life. I mean, like time management, leadership skills, relationship skills, everything. Yeah, relationships for sure. Like, you just learn so much more than just music.
Yeah, and you also, I mean, learn that everybody is different and everybody's surprising in their own way, even if they don't seem like it at first. And everybody's interesting. You know, kind of.
You learn how to accept a lot of people, because the one special thing about the collective is that we all have our own lives. We all go to different schools, and we have different interests and everything like that. But when we come to the collective, one thing that we all have in common is the love for music that we hold in our hearts.
Yeah, I think I also learned a lot about cooperation, more than school or anything else I've done, just because we're all working towards a common goal, which is like the show or gigs or whatever. And so just having that one thing in mind, I think everyone's learned a lot about how to work together to get that.
And luckily, my dad, Dave, he pushes us in a way that you just know you gotta get the job done, whether or not you want to or not, because if you don't get it done, you're out. Don't even think that you're gonna have a second chance. But that's one good thing, because at school, you're learning for your benefit there. Like, that's on you. If you don't want to pass, then you don't pass. Like, but here you learn how to do the job, get the job done efficiently.
What advice can you give younger students in order to succeed at the collective?
Be passionate about what you do. Don't sit down in the lounge and just not talk to people. Go in, have fun with your friends. Go and meet new people. Take every chance you have to be in a different class, and every class that you get, because you're going to meet more people, and then you're going to grow into yourself and grow into your own person.
Socialize. One thing as well as that is drop the ego. If you think you're good, you're not. Sorry. Because everyone here, I'm pretty sure we all thought we were like, ooh, I'm cool, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
But there's always going to be someone better than you. And luckily in SPG1, once again, we all are good. But when you first join, you have this mentality that you're really good. But when you're surrounded with a bunch of other really good people, it doesn't bring you down, it actually helps you. Like, it motivates you to become a better musician as well. But your attitude towards it, do not come in with the ego, because my dad hates that more than anything.
Yeah. Well, one, I also want to say, kind of going off of that a little bit. Also, be nice to the newer kids or the younger kids. Don't let your ego get in the way. You know what I mean? Don't think that you're better than them or anything like that, because it's scary for them to come in here with all these players who have been playing for a long time, and you know, they're nervous, so make them feel welcome.
Treat people the way you want to be treated, unless if you're better.
That and like what Isabella said, that younger kid that you might be messing with might be your first chair someday. So yeah, you know.
Oh, that's another thing. Yeah, there's younger people, and sometimes I like watching the newer kids. I'm like, I love the guitar players. Don't get me wrong, but I'm like, that kid might be a little better or at the same level, and they're like 7.
Yeah.
I want to reiterate what Andrew said just about taking all the opportunities you can get, like workshops, classes, lessons, performances, anything you can do, just because all that experience just makes you a better musician and gets you closer with people, and just, the opportunities are a big thing.
Get involved fast, because time will go by quickly.
Yeah, and you gotta be ready to work hard, because we don't like spew magic or anything.
I'd say practice, for sure. And confidence is key. Gotta have confidence. But yeah, get yourself into like a good practice habit. Make it just feel like something that you want to do, something that you have to do every day.
I would say along the lines of like the socialization, just make sure you reach out to people, because the biggest thing about the collective is that we consider ourselves like a family. Yeah, we get on everyone's nerves, and as families we know exactly where it hurts, and but we also know that at the end of the day we've always got each other's backs. If anyone's having problems with learning songs or with understanding something, or even with school, because I've helped Leah with school sometimes, or like if anyone's having problems, we know that like you've always got someone behind you to help you.
What are you going to miss most about the collective?
My
About being
friends.
at the collective?
My
So-
friends. Oh,
My
my
friends.
friends.
Isabella.
Oh, you guys. The boys.
I mean, I'm not in the next performance. I'm really just going to my lessons on Mondays, and I see a very, very few amount of people now, and I can say that it's like taking such a toll, because I'll be like, oh wow, I can't wait to see Gabriel, and I'm just like, I'm not seeing Gabriel. Or wow, I can't wait to hear Sage sing something. I'm just like, I'm not hearing Sage sing something. And it's really, you miss everyone, and you miss everything that you've seen them do, and you really just want to hold on to it a little bit longer.
It's just that the collective is so constant in all of our lives, and so like when it just ends like that, like what do you do at that point? You know, it takes up a lot of my time in a good way, but
The environment, rolling in to the collective, me hauling up the stairs if the elevator's broken, trying either like coming in, opening the glass panel doors for a guitar player has stuff in, and then seeing Bree's beautiful face, a nice smile, light up the world, and then just like the environment of having everyone there, the routine, that's a big thing, the routine. Missing the 7-hour rehearsals.
You do miss them, trust
Yes.
me.
Yeah, as much as they're long and painful, sometimes they're always there. It's a constant that we've had for me it's the past 5 years, and for you guys, some of you guys longer, some of you shorter. But it's been a constant that we've had during the school year, and that's going to be going.
Yeah.
Not miss that one.
Many friendships. Like we all, I'm pretty sure all of us attached to one in particular person here. But like Isabella and I, we've been in this for a long time. So, and Isabella and I especially have been like the young kids, the little kids, and then we've been in the middle, and then now we're like the super whatever.
Super seniors? I don't think you're a super senior, is he?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But just like missing the little cliques, it's gonna be sad.
Like the very close friendships that you hold, especially when you go off to college somewhere totally different, and you
And
don't
the staff
see them.
members too.
And the
Yeah.
staff,
Yeah.
the
It's
goats,
gonna be so weird.
especially Jared behind the camera. I'm gonna miss that guy.
Oh geez.
Jared's beautiful, abrasive face.
Jared did bring us Munchkins.
He did though. He did.
That's it.
Jared's the homie.
I'm gonna miss Willie always making fun of someone as soon as they walk in.
And then Willie trying to use freaking like kid words like John.
I'm going to miss Willie, someone being like, hey, I need a laptop, and Willie being like, you're a laptop.
Yeah. just like the little things are so like just little things that you expect.
Yeah. I'm gonna miss setting up for gigs. I love setting gigs
Oh, I'm
up.
gonna miss tearing down.
I like tearing
setting
down.
up, but tearing down I'm gonna miss.
Loading up the trailer. Oh, yeah.
Baylor.
But like the latch on the trailer, that's so stupid, but it's like
It's satisfying.
it's so fun. Like the last person,
I get to
everyone's
do that all
hauling,
the time.
and then you just.
I can totally relate to that. I think I'm gonna miss like having to carry 2 guitar cases and then also try to open 3 different doors.
Yes!
Nobody else around. Like
Yeah.
you gotta get really
You gotta put one
creative.
down, get your
Yeah.
hand up, and then you gotta make sure the guitar isn't in the way of the door.
Yep, I always kind of laugh at myself
I'm
because
goodness.
I'm always it's quite a scene sometimes.
Yeah, and then like loading the trailer with Andrew after like all the rehearsals and you know at the CAC. I was Andrew's apprentice.
You loaded trailers for a
someone
long
younger.
time.
I'm gonna miss saying "hit it, Tyler."
I'm still gonna say it.
Are you miss falling on
Miss me
stage?
yelling at everyone
Yeah.
and giving death stares.
I'll definitely miss the death stares because those were kind of funny.
Especially when they weren't directed at.
Yeah. If you just like catch Izzy death staring at someone that isn't you, it's really funny. But if you catch her death staring at you, it's kind of terrifying.
I'm gonna miss Dave's.
He'll be like this.
Yeah.
He'll look down at it like you just know. Oh my god. He'll be like this and like. Like his eyes. Sometimes he goes like, or he'll go like. Or he'll like, yeah.
He's really bad.
Yeah. Or this, the pointing down.
Yes, it's really bad when he
Or-
walks out though.
Or when he goes,
yeah.
or when he makes
Yeah,
you
when he walks
like
out.
come in,
Oh, yeah.
in the ear and he like tries to whisper, but you know everyone. Or like if he takes you out of the room, like
Do you guys remember
oh
the
my
one
God.
CTL show when instead of taking notes, Dave took pictures? And he couldn't remember anything he meant by this, so he was just like, I took a picture of this, but I don't remember why I took this picture anymore.
That's the OG.
Just like the shake of the head, like but when he doesn't stop the song, but like he just kind of.
Yeah.
That's when a bad solo happens.
Yeah.
Or he'll go like
Yeah.
this.
That's like the disappointment. You can see the disappointment, like you can see that he feels it in his soul. Like why?
I'm also going to miss him like pushing you to always be better. Like yeah, he'll be disappointed, but he'll be like, I know you're not reaching your full potential. I know you can
He
do better
only
than
he
this.
always says at the end of the rehearsals, if there's a really bad rehearsal, was it the Led Zeppelin show?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eagles one. Or the,
It was the
The
Eagles.
OPM.
Yeah.
We
We had
really bad rehearsals this year.
Yeah, the Eagles show. So we were on and off with rehearsals, quarantining and all that stuff with COVID. But the Eagles show, like, the last rehearsal, it was really bad, and like it was just not like as good as what we normally do, and it was kind of nerve-wracking. But at the end, there was a lot of yelling by him. But at the end, he says how he only yells at those that he cares about, and he only yells for a reason, because why waste your time yelling at somebody if he didn't really care?
Yep.
Just something helpful. Yo.